Hello, message from Spirit. If you're here, this is for you. Okay, so breakthrough, like big breakthrough moments, realizations, and up leveling is the theme here. And like a perception shift that is so major that your whole way of interacting and being in reality is shifting because of this one perception shift. So I was on vacation in Hawaii, Kauai, Hawaii, for the past 10 days, and it was amazing. It is a magical jungle there, so beautiful, and I had this message coming through over the entire vacation and to be shared here on my channel. The message is for me also and for my collective, because we are a mirror, right? What's resonating for me is also resonating for you if you're in my collective. But if you're here, you are, okay? That's the message that I receive, is that we are a mirror. So I did a little card pull on the spring equinox, and I asked what's the message or the energy that we're coming into for this spring. And the first card that I got was the Caretaker. And this card is about focusing on your needs and the needs of those that you do caretake. So this can be children, people in your family, not an unhealthy caretaking role, but the people that you have a healthy caretaking role for, right? And one of the big questions in there was, does this serve? To ask what in your life is serving these relationships that you need to caretake. First and foremost, yourself, and then your children, family members as well. Partner, who is it that is this healthy caretaking role that you are a part of? And with this, does it serve? If it's not serving you, it's time to let it go. And with this eclipse energy that we're moving through right now, we are in the middle of it. We just had the lunar eclipse, and now we're having the solar eclipse. So it's time to let go, release, transform, and move into the new you. I once heard a astrologer explain eclipse energy as it's an ending and beginning, like a slide changing of your life, right? So there are big realizations, energies coming in of you seeing what no longer serves and how you need to make tweaks in your life so that you can be in alignment with what you desire, what you dream, what you want to create. And a really, really big perception of this is accepting what is. What is in your life that you cannot change, and then taking action for the things that you can change, right? One of the things that the downloads that I got was this judgment that we all do, right? And how subconscious it is. And we judge others and we judge ourselves. And this is a viral programming of our entire society, right? On the plane ride home, my daughter and I watched Barbie. I had never seen it. And that part where, I forget her name, the actress talks about how women are supposed to be sexy, but not too sexy, be smart, all of that. It's like you're supposed to be yourself, but not too much. What are these rules, right? And why do we abide to them, by them? Why do we accept them? Because we're never going to make everyone happy. The most important person that you need to make happy is yourself. So, caretaking yourself, accepting yourself, right? When we're constantly looking in the mirror and being like, oh my God, I look so ugly, I look so fat, that's not helpful. You're actually releasing neurochemicals in your brain, putting yourself into dis-ease, causing fight or flight neurochemicals in your body, and then your body also goes into a state of fight or flight. And you're not going to be in a growth state, right? When you get into a place of accepting and loving yourself, your body actually transforms, right? Into a more radiant, up-leveled version of yourself. And you can't hate yourself through change. You have to love yourself through it. So, in relinquishing this judgment of self and others, it is so powerful and it's so small. I was realizing on vacation in Hawaii, there's this, there's a storyline, a belief that the locals hate, haoles, the white people. And when we first got there, I could see I was experiencing that, like the locals kind of looking at us and being like, ugh, I hate these outsiders. And I was like, taking it personally, but then also judging myself. And I realized that energy is present in the quantum externally because it is something that I believe within myself, right? On a subconscious level. And the shift that I made, and I literally saw the opposite results the next day after making this shift. I began to do some energy work on myself, accepting myself and acknowledging that I'm a good person, that I honor all life and all beings, and accept all life and all beings, right? Without judgment. So when I saw someone looking at me judgmentally, I knew that judgment existed within them. It's nothing to do with me. Something about me was triggering them. That's not my business, right? Sometimes we exist in this reality to trigger others for their own growth. And it's not our job to control how that trigger or that growth happens, right? That gets tricky when we try to control that. So when I made this shift, the next day, I was just friendly, saying hi to people. When I was at the grocery store, I was bagging my groceries to help because it was incredibly busy. And I do that when I'm at home too. And when I made this shift and just started to feel at home in this new environment, people started to think that we were locals. And that was really interesting. I was like, okay. And people were smiling and friendly with us. Of course, there were some that were not, and that's okay. And it just showed me how much we as humans have the ability to interact with our environment and be the co-creator, right? Because life is happening around us. And when we stand firmly in our being and connect with our God source, our higher self, we also affect our reality, the quantum field. It's a co-creation, right? It's not just our doing, it's also a reflection. And when you can use your reality as a tool to show you what you're holding on to internally, you can make shifts and bring awareness and do shadow work on what is stuck within you and holding you back. Because the more you can get into a space of acceptance and love in yourself, life will happen in a more free-flowing, effortless state. Are you going to have to come up against challenges? Of course, right? That's part of being human. When a plant is growing and it's experiencing, turbulent weather or getting stuck out of the soil and coming out, those are challenges, but that's part of life. That's part of the growth process. When the butterfly is in the chrysalis and it's coming out. That's part of its challenge. That's part of its growth. We have that as well. So life isn't going to be just like I'm sitting on a beach and everything is happening for me. Not exactly like that, right? You're going to have challenges that you move through, and that's normal. That's part of life. You're also going to have times where you're sitting on the beach and it's beautiful, but it's just not going to always be like that, right? There's going to be ebbs and flows of challenge and then enjoying life and relaxing. And that's beautiful, right? So the next card that I pulled for the spring equinox energy, and then moving through this with this eclipse coming this weekend, was the Citizen. And I thought this was so interesting because it's like the caretaker was what serves you, what is helping you, what's good, what's not serving you, being aware of that, moving through that. And then the Citizen is how are you existing in this reality as a citizen of this earth, right? It even said in here, like, you don't necessarily fit in, you are fringe, which I love because I am. I don't want to fit in with the crowd, and I don't want to be like everybody. You know, I saw those stereotypical tourists and I was like, ooh, you are the ones that give tourists or like white people, haoles, a bad name. And that was still a piece of judgment, but in noticing the contrast, we realize, how do we want to be as citizens of this planet? Because when I started to embody how I want to be as a citizen here, everything shifted in my quantum reality while I was in Hawaii. So something else I saw that was really interesting in the caretaker card and the citizen card, both in the themes of those cards, was acceptance. So acceptance of where people are at. So when people are in that place of like being a stereotypical tourist, like accepting that that's where they're at, right? For me to just say, okay, that's where they are at right now without judgment, which is a challenge, right? Because it's easy to judge and say like, oh, you should be this way. But that's not really my job. And that puts me in a lower vibrational state. So accepting where they're at, accepting where I'm at, acknowledging that's an energy that I am not a frequency match for, and that's okay. And I'll move on, right? We'll move on from each other. And when you embrace that energy, you are shifting the quantum field for yourself and everyone around you. And then another channeled message that came through is, life has made you hard, my dear, but it's time to soften and lead by example. So experiences in life have made you hard. And that was something I was really noticing too, is like people would look at me and stare at me. And sometimes that happens because, I don't know, I look a little different than the average normal American. Like, I have tattoos, I have my septum pierced, like, you know, I look a little bit different than Sally Jane. Like, you could tell who's... Anyways, I digress. When people were looking at me with judgment, I used to be like, why are you looking at me like that? And instead was realizing, okay, that's something in them is happening with my presence, and that's okay. And acknowledging it's not really my business and I'm going to move on, right? So that's the message for you too. Like, it's made you hard. Life has made you hard, and that judgment has come up as a self-protecting mechanism. And it's time to release those judgments and accept life for how it is, and just be in your power and exuding your power by acknowledging your presence and grounded energy within yourself, and loving and accepting yourself. And in doing that, you love and accept others for where they're at. You don't need to be best friends with everybody, right? That's unrealistic. We're not meant to all like every single person. There's going to be people that are activating and triggering, and that's okay. But to accept them and acknowledge the trigger, because the trigger that exists within you is a growth point, right? It's a place for you to realize, like, where am I stuck? How is that? Why is that so triggering to me that it's shifting my entire energy, right? A lot of times there's some belief or some experience. It could be a past life. It can be many different things that are stuck within you that you need to release. And that's okay. It's just a growth point. So, realizing how much power you have in every moment, coming back to yourself, being present with what is arising, what is surfacing. Another thing that came up for me when I got home from Hawaii, I was feeling very sad because it was just such a magical, beautiful vacation, and it was like lush jungle, magical energy. And home, it is coming into spring, so little sprouts are coming up. It's very different energy to come into, and acknowledging that sadness and sitting with it for me, like, I can't just push it away and be like, stop. That's like telling a child to stop when they have emotions, right? You have to let them have those emotions. So doing that for myself and doing that for yourself, like, when you feel sad, this is a big time of releasing in this eclipse energy. If you have sadness surface, that's okay. Sit with it, acknowledge it. That lets it pass, right? So, yeah, that is the message that came through. And you're doing great. There's so much shifting happening, and you're setting yourself up for a whole new era of you. And this has been a theme for a while, but to realize and acknowledge and remember that these shifts happen in layers, and there's going to be new layers that arise for you to move through. And like the first, this is the spring. It's the new energy. This is the new year for the astrological calendar. And to me, it really feels like the new year too, because of the spring energy. So be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself to birth into this new version of yourself and do it gracefully. Like, if you need to take a nap, let yourself take a nap. If you feel like you want to start doing yoga in the morning and wake up early and do that, there's this internal bubbling to do that. Do anything like that, whatever is feeling to come up. Do a meditation in the morning. Do it and commit to yourself, because you're the only one that is going to hold yourself accountable, right? You can have accountability buddies, do things with a group, but at the end of the day, you're the one who does it for yourself. And ask your guidance team for support. Like, I want to wake up at 5 a.m. every morning and do my own practice. And that has been difficult over the past year. And I've been asking my higher self and my team to help me wake up at 5 a.m. and do it. And when I ask for that assistance, I find that I really do wake up, and it's a little bit easier because we have to ask our spirit team for help. They can't just be like, they can't make us do it, right? We have to ask for help. We have to want to do it ourselves. Yeah. Okay. That is it for this message. I love you all. I am going to do, I know I've been saying this for a while, but I'm starting to coordinate it. I'm going to be doing a session, quantum energy healing session, recorded and put it up on YouTube so you all can see what it looks like. It's a different form of energy healing. I love it. I have to really trust because it's channeled information that's coming through. It doesn't always make sense to me, but it makes sense to the client because it's things that are coming from the quantum field through me that are shifting and moving energies, so that energies that have been stuck feel more neutral and lighter for the client I'm working on, or with myself. Yeah, a lot of times it's past life energies, present life with certain relationships, and ancestral energies, lots of different ways that energies and patterns can be stuck, cellular memories. Yeah. So if you feel interested in booking a session with me, check out the link in my bio. I'll also leave my email where you can email me. Yeah, thanks for being here. Love you so much, and be well. Take good care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.